First of all, we need to amend the statement because, yes, white men can jump. Mario has been doing it since the 80s. So, that little dude is really good at jumping. It's pretty much all he does. Boing, boing. Anyway, yep, I reviewed White Men Can't Jump for the first time without audio description. Why? It's a weird film. 30 years old. Um, this is on Hulu. In case anybody's wondering the magic of where it doesn't have audio description, it's on Hulu. I recently was working on my rewriting the Oscars, where I was going back, and I did go back to 30 years ago to the 1992 list of films, and there were some films on there that I hadn't seen. My list was definitely not what it could have been, so I wanted to try to get something off my list where after going through the list of films, I was like, oh, I haven't seen, I need to see that, I need to see that, I need to see that. And this was the first on that list that actually was on a streaming service, and it was on Hulu, and I just started watching it. More to check that off my list. Because I hadn't officially dropped the video of it yet, and I was like, maybe I can throw one or two more titles on this list before I actually announce my winners. Anyway, this is a good movie. I enjoyed it. It needs audio description. There are but it needs audio description not to understand the film necessarily, like the plot. I was able to follow what the plot was about and the characters. But there are multiple basketball sequences where there's no dialogue. And just sounds of people playing basketball. Or like the dialogue is like really brief. It's like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's like not real dialogue. It's just people shouting in the middle of the game. Yeah, that's not really helpful. I didn't really know. I have no idea what kind of plays they were doing. If they were driving to the rim, if they were dunking, if they were doing a layup, if they were taking a three. I have no idea. Got nothing. Nothing at all. It's kind of about hustling in the streets of LA. Woody Harrelson is basically playing on the idea that he's white and people think he can't play basketball. And he's able to hustle some money, and Wesley Snipes figures out that he can get in on this if he teams up with Woody Harrelson. They can hustle together because he's good at basketball, and Woody hustled him, and he realizes the game, you know, the hustle life, and he thinks that everybody will look at this guy with this, country accent and pick, and just immediately assume that he can't possibly be good at basketball. So, I guess he is decent, at least decent at basketball. Apparently he still can't jump, because that's like the title of the film. And in this whole mix, we also have Rosie Perez, who plays Woody Harrelson's girlfriend in the film, and she has quite a bit of screen time. And she's fantastic, by the way. She has dreams of being on Jeopardy one day, and it's kind of one of those funny things where you're like, I don't know how that's going to work out, because she's such a hard character to read. But I guess I should be able to talk about spoilers. This film is 30 years old, but I still won't spoil things for you. I don't know why I feel like I can't. Probably because it's not based on a true story. So I'll just leave it at that. If you haven't seen White Men Can't Jump, the film evolves from there. I've given you enough to go off of. I was really amused by a lot of things in this film. One of them was there's a time when Woody Harrelson's character sits down and he starts playing guitar, and he starts playing this like ridiculous song for his girlfriend who's named Gloria. And there's no way this is a real song. Like, there's no way it can possibly be, because it's so specific to her character and the things that she said in the movie. And then it turns into this, like he stopped singing, and then they recorded like a really great jazzy R&B singer is like, he like finishes out, it's like very smooth jazz, and he's like, Gloria. I'm like, oh, it's they made a real song out of it. But like the words are like nonsensical and they're stupid and they don't really make any sense. And it was like, it predated all of like the Lonely Island stuff, but it felt very Lonely Island to me after a while. And this dude is like seriously singing this song like it's any R&B tune. It doesn't really, doesn't make sense. It's the kind of song that I was like, I hope that song got nominated for, but then I also know what films were released this year, and it's really hard to get into. I don't even know what songs were original song nominees, but I wouldn't remember Gloria nowadays. But after watching it for the first time, yeah, it was amusing. So, Rosie Perez kind of steals the show. She's actually fantastic in this. I loved every moment of her performance. That's when you know you're in the 90s. That's when Rosie Perez was great. Woody Harrelson's pretty good in this. Really liked Wesley Snipes. He's kind of fast talking and smooth and really excitable. He does good work here. Feels like Woody Harrelson is the star. If I had to pick who feels like they have slightly more screen time, I would say Woody over Wesley. Because we also spend a little bit more time with Woody's home life than we do Leslie's home life. So that's sort of the little bit of divide there. But yeah, in these audio description, there are multiple basketball sequences. There's a couple of musical montages where like a song just plays for like 2 minutes. I got nothing. Don't know what happened. But the consequential main plot, yeah, technically I was able to follow it. So if this is something that you've ever wanted to check off your bucket list, and you don't like basketball, but you've always been wondering what this story is about, so you wouldn't be interested in the basketball scenes anyway, I guess you could watch this without audio description. I was able to understand the whole film that way, not like the whole film, but like the center, like the core, the main through plot of the story and the characters. It also helps. I'm gonna be real honest. It also helps the fact that this cast reduces itself to where it really does not have a lot of major characters for you to follow. The fourth biggest character might be the actress that plays Wesley Snipes' wife, but she doesn't have a lot to do. Not nearly what Rosie Perez has to do. So this film basically is 3 people, and 2 of them have 2 of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood. And then you have Wesley Snipes, whose voice is pretty recognizable. I think I know it's Wesley Snipes when it's Wesley Snipes. It's pretty, I got like a 75% chance of guessing that voice, but Rosie Perez and Woody Harrelson are like, if you don't know what they sound like when they speak. So it was really easy to kind of pick up on, oh, that's Woody Harrelson. Oh, that is Rosie Perez. Kind of right away, just iconic voices, I guess you could say. In a way, they do, because nobody else sounds like them, and people try to imitate it, and it's just hard. They can't. I don't know. It was funny. It was heartfelt at times. It was well written. There are a couple of cringe moments. I'm gonna be honest. There were a couple lines of dialogue that haven't aged well. in 1992. I don't even know that they were aged, that they were appropriate for 1992. I don't even know that they were. I'm like, what's up, Ron Shelton? Like, what were we doing here? There's a scene when I guess Woody's like a little frustrated and he's like riding in the car with Rosie, and he says, "Why is this Negro singing country music?" And I was like, I don't know that we needed that line. I don't. I feel like maybe we could have left that line out. I don't know really what it does for the film or for anybody's character. I tried to put myself in like 1992 and be like, in 1992, would we have been okay with Woody Harrelson saying that line? I was like, I don't know. I was 9. But I feel like I was told not to say that, you know. But I did kind of grow up with some white kids who were really comfortable using that language because they had friends, because they had black friends. So I don't know. Is that the statement that he's trying to make here? Is that because Woody Harrelson spends so much time hanging out with Wesley Snipes and playing basketball with black people that he feels like he could just say, "Why is this Negro singing country music?" I have no idea. But it's not the kind of line that I would give to the protagonist slash sympathetic hero of the story. The guy that we're supposed to be kind of rooting for to pull himself up out of, the trenches of poverty, I guess. Weird film. Anyway, the rest of it is fine. I definitely would love to see Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson together again. They work really well together, surprisingly well together, considering how opposite they are at times. Woody isn't really a fast-talking person. He's kind of slow. Wesley Snipes delivers his dialogue at like 100 miles a minute. It's amazing. Him plus like Eddie Murphy in his prime, I feel like there's a movie for that. I feel like there's a movie where Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy are just going like 100 miles an hour on dialogue, and like you're just like, I don't even what is this? I want to find that movie, but it has to happen. I know it happened more recently with Dolomite Is My Name, but neither of those actors were trying to speak that fast. Both of them have capabilities to deliver dialogue at rapid speed. It's kind of amazing. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. This is a spot where normally I would comment on the audio description, but it's non-existent. That's mainly because Hulu does not have audio description, which, I could go into like a statement about audio description and what it's like to watch movies without audio description, and it sucked not being able to follow the basketball sequences. It's not even like watching a real basketball game, because real basketball games have announcers that are like, okay, LeBron's going down the court, he's taking it, he's on, he's going in. Like, I don't even have that. It was just kind of like basketball noises over some early 90s music. That was it. I don't know if anybody dunked or shot, or I have no idea. It leads up to a basketball game. You can kind of hear they're on a court. Every once in a while you can hear the sound of the ball going through the chain net. And that's about it. And that's a lot of the film, to be totally honest. So I'm trying to picture what this film would be like and what grade I would give it if I had audio description and filled in all those places, because like I said, this has got 3 great performances from the leads. I think this there's a reason why I keep hearing about this film, and I don't think it's the title. I think it's actually legitimately that this was I don't know that it's a comedy classic. I just think it's a good film. it's not necessarily rolling in the aisles hilarious. Like, you're not going to find yourself just all over the place, just like laughing hysterically the whole film. It has moments that are hilarious, um, but it's not consistent. So it just is a good film. Ron Shelton directed a lot of sports movies back in the day. I have no idea what he's doing nowadays. Maybe he's dead. I have no idea. I haven't heard Ron Shelton's projects in a while. But he's, Bull Durham, Tin Cup, that kind of stuff. Yeah, he just kind of stayed in his lane, so to speak, for a while. And that's all I can say about White Men Can't Jump. So it's time to grade it. I'm very disappointed that it doesn't have audio description. I'm not surprised, considering it was Hulu, and Hulu never offers audio description for licensed library titles. But, I don't even care. If you call them about it and you're like, can you offer? And they're like, no. I did that once. I'm like, no, we don't do that. And I'm like, why? It's an accessibility thing. Why are you so resistant? So I'm gonna give White Men Can't Jump. I'm gonna give it an A-. I liked it a lot. I think it's got 3 good performances. It's got a strong plot. It's interesting. A rise and fall. It feels very 90s, but that's fine. I mean, it should feel 90s. It's a 90s film. I saw Top Gun last year, and it felt very 80s. I still enjoyed it. Sometimes films just embrace everything of their time period. I'm sure the films we're looking at now, when we watch them 20 years from now, we're going to go back and be like, that feels very 2020s. So, yeah, filmmaking always evolves. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I also have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. In case you want to watch something actually with audio description, instead of White Men Can't Jump on Hulu, which is fine. That's just where my Roku sent me when I asked it to pull up, the movie. That was was where it was. I actually tried to watch Unforgiven first, but apparently that's not on any of the 9 streaming services that I have, which is very disappointing. It wants me to pay for Unforgiven. I'm like, no, there's a reason I have 9 streaming services, so I don't have to rent movies like Unforgiven. Like, I should be somewhere on a streaming service. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. That's it. I will review something else for you guys, hopefully that has audio description. And see you guys on the other side.